Alright guys, this is day 2. This is a reverse lunge. I'm going to show you an alternate version here at the beginning, which is actually a little bit better for the spine, but reverse lunge is something that more of you might be familiar with, so that's what you're seeing here at the front. This is a little bit more of a hinge extension that you can do as another option here. So you're pushing off that front foot, loading the back, or hinging. I'm going to show this from the other view to make more sense here. It's hinging backwards into extension. So that's kind of slowed down from what it would normally be. Let me show you here a little faster. See those muscles stretching. That's what we want. So that's what it would look like in real time there. Back. A little less motion, but also less bending for that spine. So again, pulling into extension. Very slight hinge at the hips, so a lot less motion, just another inversion. So here's the normal. So 100 reverse lunges, and as the leg comes back, you want to raise the arms. You can either do the sphere of tension that I'm showing, or you can do both palms up, more like a scoop. You're raising the palms towards the sky, then over your head, and that actually opens up the shoulders a little bit better. So I do 25 on one leg, and then 25 on the other leg, and then we'll do another 25, and then another 25, just to mix it up so you're not doing 50 in a row on one leg, because you don't want to get too sloppy with these. And you can see that good, nice stretch in those erectors, upper traps. So it's the combining the hip motion with the shoulder motion that's very effective, teaching the spine to act as a stabilizing structure. So there's probably going to be some bending of the spine here with this motion, but the idea is that over time, as I said in the other videos, that this will actually become harder the more you do it, because you're going to get more strict with the hip hinge. So doing 100 of these is not going to be anything bad, and it's not going to take you very long. If it is really tiring, you can do 50 in the morning and then 50 at night. So there I did 25 on the left, and 25 on the right. Should be testing your balance here. You want to try to keep length. It's not about dropping all the way down, getting your knee to the ground. We're not playing to mobility here. We're trying to strengthen the spine and really focus on using shoulder and hip mobility. So we're not trying to rob too much from the knees to get us down that deep. We're not trying to rob motion from the spine to get us down that deep, because again, we don't want too much bending. So you should be hitting a wall with your shoulders and also hitting a wall with your hip joints, and your spine is fighting in the middle. And that's what you can see when those muscles are stretching like that at the very end. That's that end range motion. So you should feel that tension every time you come back. And a lot of foundation training, we're finding that sustained hold and pushing against it. So here you're only dealing with it for just about a second, but that's a second 100 times. So it's a 100-second hold if you want to think about it. Just repetitive motions to teach yourself to find that wall. That wall is that restricted joint tissue, those weak muscles that we just don't use. So you're trying to keep that gut in, keeping that hip flexor tight so that back doesn't arch too much. If it's arching too much, you're not going to get that stretch. So try to keep that stomach as tight as you can. Losing your balance is probably a good thing. You want to be staying in that lengthened position where you're on top of your hips and not really sinking too deep and resting on your joints. Trying to keep those spinal muscles doing the work, not so much the laxity in the joints doing the work. And again, it's not easy with this type of fast motion. It tends to get sloppy. See, I'm doing more of the palm upward raise here. Trying to externally rotate those shoulders by externally rotating the forearms. Try to keep like ear, shoulder, hip in a straight line no matter what's happening. We're trying to follow each other. And you can see there's that arching in the spine. That's why I gave you the alternate version in the beginning. Do one more 25 here on the other side. And that's it. You're done for the day. Not too hard. This one's a little easier. It might be tougher for some of you who've never done a reverse lunge. The reason it's reverse lunge is because when you go forward, tendency is to just arch too much. It's really the same exercise. It's just when you start and you step back, it keeps the motion in the hips and not too much bending in that lower L5 sacrum joint. That's what we want to avoid. That's why we're lengthening at the start to force the hips to at least start the motion. That's the key at the start, is getting those hips to do the work instead of starting the motion at the spine. Because once the motion starts at the spine, the hip is kind of the last to move. So we're trying to flip that on its head, where the hip is the first to move. And if you have to get down deeper, because a lot of you are probably going to want to go deeper than I am, I'm being very strict with it. Just being strict with something actually means it's maybe more work, because you're just focusing different muscles. It's a lot of people think, oh, if you're not getting that deep, the knee's not touching the ground, then you're really not doing good motion. But that's not entirely true there, especially for women. Really squeezing at the end here. You want to do a little sustained hold. This is actually what we did at the beginning. Pressing into extension, pushing off that front foot, loading the back, really just stretching the spine, keeping that core tight.